Anybody above the age of, say, like 17 who has had the privilege of participating in what's known as the public schooling system knows that high school fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. And that's for a couple of reasons. Not the least of which is the fucking broken municipal fucking system of making kids feel bad about the clothes they wear and fucking saying that all girls are sluts because they are showing their ankles, and the fact that you're literally told, if you get bullied, wait for the bully to finish and then go get a teacher. Don't defend yourself, you piece of shit. Just fucking snitch on him and call it good. Which, by the way, is the most disrespectful way to deal with a bully. If somebody fucking bullies you, come to me, dude. I'll set a bomb to their fucking house, I swear to God. All that being said, I have a couple stories from when I was in high school. What a great time that was in my life, I'm sure you can guess. This first story comes from my junior year of high school. So me and my buddy Chris, every single lunch for a good 3 years that we were in school together, we would always go through the fitness area where all the gyms were and like the locker rooms and shit. We would always go through that hallway and come out the side of the building, like the weird obscure side that nobody ever goes to where like the teachers park. We would always go there and sit on the sidewalk and eat our lunches there. Rarely you would ever find kids walking over there unless they were like the unpopular kids sitting next to the benches or like going to some obscure class activity club thing like fucking sticker club or Japanese pop culture club, because we just liked having like one-on-one conversations where we'd make each other laugh and like make fucking memes. It was a pretty good time. School wasn't that great, but lunch with Chris was always a good time. He is like my best friend. He's a good guy. Fuck you, Chris. I hate you so much. So again, this is my junior year, right? I've had a couple years to like learn how things work and mellow out, and you know, I'm just trying to keep my fucking head down and wait for like senior year to be over, and then I'll be fucking out of there, and then I can just leave and never go back to high school ever again. With all this knowledge in my mind, I've kind of figured out why when I was a freshman, all the upperclassmen like looked down upon us. Like at first I was just like, oh, it's just the big kids being dicks. But now I know it's because when I was a freshman, I was a fucking annoying little shithead. Like I'm not saying all freshmen are like that, but like when you've met a good amount of freshmen who are like that, you just kind of get a disdain for all freshmen. So one day Chris and I are just sitting, you know, eating our curly fries, and I'm having my gross pizza that's like all cheese block and it's like melty and gross, when this group of like 5 white kids come up. I specify that they're white, but that's because it'll come up again in later on. So you can tell these kids are freshmen because they all look like they're fucking 12 years old. They all look like that one like fucking blonde kid who's on the baseball team that like is kind of conventionally attractive, but at the same time he's just an asshole and he wants to be cool, and so he like hangs out with all the upperclassmen and like says swear words and disrespects teachers and shit. You can tell like he's the leader of the group that they're all following around. So as they're walking by, they're like spitting on the ground, you know, like trying to be cool, I guess, 'cause I guess cool people spit, and like you can't really ignore them because it's like a fucking flock of geese going like walking by you when you're trying to have a conversation. You just can't turn your cheek at that. You kind of have to like sit and look at them for a sec. So I've gotten in trouble for spitting on school grounds in the past. So I was like, hey, dude, you probably shouldn't spit, you know? I know you're probably new, but you probably shouldn't spit. And so fucking the blonde kid, who's obviously, like I said, the leader of the group, looks me in the eye and fucking spits on my shoes, right? And all the other kids fucking laugh. And Chris just like looks at me, and I look at Chris, and I'm like, I don't know what emotions I should be feeling right now, but I think the main emotion is rage. So that kind of sets up what my interactions with these kids are gonna be like. After he spits on my shoes, he like walks in a way, and they're like laughing, and they continue spitting and like talking about fuck cars, I don't know. And that's the end of that. Chris and I just kind of shrug it off and go on with our conversations, being like, yeah, whatever, they're freshmen, they're dicks. A couple days later, right, they come back again. This is on, I think, September 11th. So, you know, there's bound to be like an assembly to fucking talk about 9/11, the tragedy, and fucking mourn those who were lost, you know, 9/11 stuff. So Chris and I are still sitting there, you know, eating our curly fries, having disgusting pizza. These kids, they're walking by again, you know. They come by, you know, every so often. I think because they have clubs, they go from one area to another. There are a lot of, like, weird passageways and hallways and shit, how to get from one area. Like, there are 15 different ways to get from point A to point B in my school. So I don't know why they were taking, like, what caused them to take that path, but that's not important. So these kids walk by, and, like, we don't even acknowledge them because we already know what they're about. But one of them looks me in the eye and says, I don't remember exactly what he said, but, like, it was something about 9/11. It was like some half-assed insult, like, I wish you died in 9/11, or something stupid like that. So I, like, look at Chris, and then I look at him, and I'm like, my dad died in 9/11. He didn't actually die in 9/11, but that was just what I thought was a good response in the moment. And so the fucking leader kid, like, looks at his other friends and he like smiles, which is not usually something you should do when someone says their dad dies in 9/11. But, you know, I don't think these kids really cared too much about other people's feelings. You know, they were fucking freshmen after all, so, you know. And so they did the thing that, like, people in YouTube videos do when they, like, get caught doing something bad, where they're like, oh shit, go, and they run away laughing because, I don't know, that's funny and edgy. I'm sure they were, like, laughing about it for the rest of the lunch period, or at least for, like, 15 minutes later. I was just kind of confused, but, you know, that was the end of that. Now we know that these kids are A, disrespectful, and B, laugh at 9/11 jokes. So, you know, there you go. The third time I had any form of interaction with them was, Chris was actually, I texted him saying, hey, I'm gonna be late to this spot where we usually meet. I need to go talk to a teacher about, you know, fucking something. So I was at, like, the computer lab or whatever, and Chris was like, dude, the kids are here and they're asking for you. Keep in mind, Chris doesn't really talk to the kids. He just, like, sits and, like, looks at me and then looks at them whenever I fucking talk to them. So the kids don't really have any idea of what Chris is about, right? And so I finish up what I'm doing in the computer lab, and I go over to Chris, and he's like smiling, which he did a lot. He smiles. He's a great guy. I love you, Chris. Fuck you. I hate you, Chris. He was smiling, and he was like, dude, the kids were here, and they were asking about you, and I was like, oh shit, what did they want? And they were like, I don't know, they were just asking about you. The fucking main kid, he asked me if I wanted to play Minecraft, and I fucking burst out laughing, because this is like when Minecraft was like a big fucking thing that people made fun of. This was like at the peak of when people were making fun of PewDiePie, right? So just the idea of my friend Chris sitting there, you know, fucking minding his own business on his phone or whatever, these kids who spit on my shoes and laughed at the idea of my dad dying in 9/11, they come over here and they're like, hey, where's the one kid that you usually sit with? And Chris is just like, I don't know. Cause Chris totally had my back, you know, he's like my fucking dude. He's like always got my back and shit. And so, like, I guess they were just like waiting for me because they had some sick burn that they wanted to dish out upon me when I got back. And so, like, I guess Chris was just like ignoring them, and then like the main kid's just like, hey, you wanna play Minecraft sometime? Chris has this like deadpan look that he can just give you, and it's like emotionless. You don't know what the fuck to do. He's just like looking at you. You can tell he's like looking at your soul, but looking through you at the same time. It's a horrifying thing. He's a powerful man. Fuck you, Chris. So when the leader kid says, do you want to play Minecraft? Chris just looks him in the eye for a couple of seconds with that horrifying deadpan look, and then just ignores him. And then I guess the kid just didn't ask again. And it was great. That was fantastic. So my fourth and last interaction with this child is when I just decided, you know, I'm gonna fucking do something about this. Because I don't want these kids fucking with me and Chris anymore. Actually not Chris. They apparently they like Chris. I don't want these kids fucking with me. So what I did was when they came over, we usually sit down on the sidewalk with our backs to the brick wall, right? So when they came over, I like stood up and got in front of them and I was like, hey you, come here. And so the leader kid comes over and I was like, you've been fucking picking on my little brother, you piece of shit? And he was like, what? What the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, I swear to fucking God, if you touch him, I will fucking rip your head off, okay? Now keep in mind, I don't have a little brother. I'm just making this shit up. And he was like, okay, no, I'm sorry. I think at one point I like grabbed his collar because I don't know how to bully people. I'm a big guy, but I'm not a bully. I'm like, if you yell at me, I'll probably cry. But like, I like did what I saw on TV, like what bullies do. So I like grabbed him by the collar and like pushed him against the brick wall. And I'm like, if you ever fucking touch my little brother again, I swear to God, you piece of shit, I'll fucking kill you. And he was like, okay, I'm sorry, whatever, dude. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. Stop. And so I was like, get the fuck out of here, you little fuck or whatever. I don't know. I was just yelling profanities, and he was like, okay, dude, fucking fine, dude, Jesus. And so he and the other kids just like walked off, and it was Chris and I waited till they turned the corner that was like 100 feet down, and we just like fucking laughed. It was one of the most liberating moments of my life because I fucking made him think that he was doing something wrong, but at the same time, he just like confuse him, and also I was doing it in self-defense, kind of, for like my little brother that doesn't exist. It was a great moment. It was a good time, you know? Now, this is the last time that those kids interacted with us directly, but they still walked by every so often, and we would get, like, little glimpses of their conversations. One of the main things that comes to mind when I think of these kids is, okay, so, like I said, there aren't a lot of people who sit on, like, the side of the building that we sat, but there was this group of, like 3 black kids, 2 Mexicans, and, like, 1 white girl who were, like, really good friends. We would occasionally, like, be like, hey, do you want some of our food that we have left over? And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. They were really cool, you know? They were just, like, some fucking kids having a good time eating food, not wanting to talk to people. That's why they were on the side of the building, right? And so one time, this kid, I swear to fucking God, he goes up to, like, the main black guy in that group, and he's just like, hey, what up, my... I don't want to say it, because I'm white as fucking mayonnaise, dude. But he said the big bad that fucking white people aren't supposed to say. He was just like, what up, my nugget? And the black guy just like looked at him deadpan in the face and said, get the fuck out of here. And so he was like, all right, yeah. And he like tried to play it off, but he was like sweating, and he was like, all right, yeah. And then the other guys, they were like looking at him like, dude, what the fuck? Dude, what? And they just like sped walk away, and they didn't like try to talk anymore. And from that day forward, they would occasionally like walk by that group, and they were like trying to rap. Like they had their phone out, and they're like trying to freestyle, and they're like, yo, looking like a motherfucker, gonna take her, fucker, you know, getting the money, getting the bitches, getting the honey, and my, you know, fasten my britches. You know, like fucking people who don't know how to rap. I mean, I don't know how to rap either, so that was pretty accurate if I tried to freestyle. So to, like, find a conclusion out of all of this, I was fucking bullied by freshmen. And they were, like, the little shits that, like, they're, like, the villains in my movie, right? If my junior year in high school was, like, a movie, then they would be, like, some of the main antagonists. And they fit that role pretty fucking well. Thanks fucking for watching my video all the way through. Thanks for watching my story. Oh, I'm sorry, I just vomited in my mouth a little bit. I didn't think anybody would actually watch this far, so, like, the fact that you did was pretty fucking nifty. Thanks a whole ton, dude. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Legitimately, though, I don't have to ask you guys to like, because it seems like you guys just, like, fucking like my videos anyway, so thanks for liking my videos, dude. That kiss was for you. It was right on your fucking neck. Also, I read all the comments, just so you know. I read every comment, and I check frequently to see if there are new comments, because I like seeing what you guys have to say. So, thanks for watching, boys and girls.